This is like Pokemon in Empyrion. We're gonna collect them all.
Shaken.
Hello everybody, this is Hodag, and welcome back to another episode of Empyrion. Today, we look at our two small vessels. On the left, we have a Borg cube, a literal cube of just a piece of junk. On the right, we have the small vessel that is yet to be named. If you have a good name, let me know. And it looks a bit different, doesn't? Because of all the Sathium I've been getting, I've been able to make hardened steel plates. And guess what we're doing? Upgrade time! That's right, we are armoring this thing to the teeth. And one of the reasons we're doing that is because between episodes, I was like flying around to all of my different mining auto miner things that are on the moon and in the planet now, and I don't even know it's hard to control this thing. Anyway, I was flying around to all those, and what happened was I lost control of my drone and just upgraded a bunch of junk. What happened was actually that I ran into a freighter in space. Now, I have generally learned to be fairly scared of the freighters, because the first freighter that I ever tried to be like, yeah, my small vessel can take it on, it blew off two of my guns and one of my rocket launchers, as well as pretty much like the entire front face of my ship, and just was like, boom, it's gone. And so yeah, I'm a little bit scared of the freighters, but now we're upgrading. Before we even upgrade, I met a freighter in space on the way to the moon to get my stuffs, and I was like, hey, this freighter doesn't look as heavily armed and nothing shot at me, so I went and started shooting it. And I took out all of its back thruster kind of deal, so it couldn't move forward. And then I took out two guns, and then all of a sudden it was like, we will self-destruct in 1 minute or something. And I got a little bit scared, so I was like, okay, hurry up, go inside. And then there was one of those things, those drone turrets on the wall, you know, the ones that like shred your face off. So I was like, okay, maybe don't go inside. Maybe jump back into my small vessel and just blow a bigger hole into the back of this thing. And I got super lucky because blowing a bigger hole in the back of the thing actually blew up the generator, which just turned off the entire ship. And that allowed me to go inside the ship and be really loud, I guess. That allowed me to go inside the ship. And wouldn't you know it, inside the ship, I found some weapons. I found an epic assault rifle. I found an epic plasma gun. I found an epic, I don't know, I found like 4 different epic weapons that are down in my storage room now of awesomeness. And I think I'm missing a block there. Yeah, so we're geared, you guys. That's the whole point of this story, is we got all the epicness, and it's super epic. And, yeah, now we can armor up this thing, because I want to take out more freighters. But that's not the main thing we're doing today, and I just realized something. This thing is up, and that thing is down. How did I miss that? Anyway, we're doing that because I'm going to spend a lot of time in space today for something. And let's just go over up into the space area, because I feel like I should just tell you about it up there. Psych! We're still not in space. Let's mess with you guys. Hey, check this out. So I got all this pentaxid for when we finally go to warp, because we're building the capital vessel today. If I didn't already mention that, I don't know if I did exactly. Look at how much fusion cells though I have actually saved up, and my tier 3 fuel tanks on this base are full. All of my fuel on everything else is full. I keep throwing fusion cells inside of all the auto miners, so I have fusion cells everywhere, you guys. The problem is I've actually run out of this stuff, promethium pellets. This is my only promethium left, and I just got that because I went and threw down another auto miner over here. Where? There's one on here, silicon deposit, and then over here, Howitzer has one here on the iron deposit. I put one on the copper deposit, and then on the moon there's one on a Sathium and a neodymium deposit. So we almost got all of them. They're all like tier 1 though, and that bugs me. So there's also a silicon deposit south of me and a magnesium deposit. So I think we have them all now. But if Howitzer's watching this, you need to enable it so that I can access the one that's on the iron deposit, because right now it's locked. Okay, thank you, everybody. Alright, so the next thing I want to show you here is everything we're going to be putting on our capital vessel. And it is a lot of stuff. Got the capital vessel started, we got the warp drive, of course. We got RCSs, I don't know how many we're going to need. I made 10 tier 2 ones right away. These things really pump out a lot of torque, but I'm not really sure how big this thing's going to be or what we're going to need, so I might have to make more of those. Gravity generator, here's the cockpit, and I just made a couple random thrusters here. We got the extra large ones, and the medium ones, I guess. Rocket turrets, 4 rocket turrets, 2 artillery turrets, 4 flak cannons. I think that should be enough, and with the way we're designing it, it should be fine, but I'm not sure yet. I'm going for large generators, so this might turn into 6. I'm not sure. Again, we have to check out and see how much energy we're going to take once we get it put together. Warp drive tank, so we can have the warp drive stuff, you know. Crap ton of O2 tanks. Like, I'm going to load that thing up. And then also 10 tier 3 fuel tanks. That's a lot of fuel, but these capital vessels also suck in a lot of fuel too, so we'll see how that goes. We got 6 O2 stations. I'm going to have these all over the ship. I'm going to have 1 clone chamber, 1 medic chamber probably, 2 passenger seats for Howitzer and Octavius. We got plant and grow lights for our growing plots, which we're going to have our whole food system set up on the ship. Look at all of the combat steel blocks. We got most of those from the moon when we took out the drone base on the moon because that thing was a beast. We got a repair bay, offline protection, 2 hangar doors, maybe more later, I don't know. 4 large ammos, food processor, fridge, and a partridge and a pear tree. We're going to have a whole bunch of crap thrown on there. It's going to be huge. It's going to take forever. And I decided I don't know why I made all this stuff, because I am actually going to do it in the creative world and then copy it like I have all the other vessels that I've done for real. Not because of I was going to go into space and build it, but the only thing I'm worried about is, remember when, like last episode I think it was, when I went and built the We Are the Borg cube? It's just it's a block of junk, basically, if we can go up and have a look really quick. I went and built this Borg cube, and the plan was for Octavius and I, if you didn't see it, to fight each other, and here it is. This is the Borg cube. But the problem is, when I got inside it, you can barely see the cube. I think I kind of fixed it now, so that when I get in, you can see me, but it's weird because it depends on... Did I already destroy? There's no cockpit. Oh, the cockpit I threw on the top just for fun. I threw it on the top because I was like, well, what if it's on the top? Will it actually be able to see... Will I be able to see it then? I can see a part of it now, but that's because I zoomed out. If you push Alt when you're in this mode... There, now you can see me. But originally, it was like this. And I couldn't see the ship at all. I had to, like... I couldn't look down like I just did either, because... then you can't actually steer left, right, up, down when you're in this mode. But if I zoom out more, I can see like the top of the cube. That's because I think there's some weird glitch going on with where the core is and all this junk. And there's probably a simple way to just fix it, you know. But I don't want to mess with that. I want our ship to be glorious and everything to be glorious. Once it's built, we're going to put it on here and it's going to be amazing. So let's get over to the creative world. Let's start designing this thing. Alright everyone, construction has begun, and I'm starting with the heart of the ship, you guys. Actually, that would be the warp core, like the engines. Oh, I don't know. I'm starting with the warp core, okay? So the warp core is right here, and I wanted to kind of go with a certain theme that I've seen before in some movies where it's kind of inside this own little case kind of thing, you know? And like here, I wanted to show you where the core was, but it's right there. And in a second I'm going to cover that up, and this is probably how tall the ship is going to be. Just ignore that little block thing on the bottom there. I just wanted to put that there to make sure I knew where the core was. So the core is right there in the center. Moved it up 1 block from the original starting position, but and the ship is facing that way. I wanted to make sure I remembered that. But there it is. We got the warp core in, and just my ship right near is next to it, so you can kind of see for comparison where it is and how big this thing is going to be. It may be bigger, I'm not sure. This is currently, if the hull is always 2 blocks thick, which it may be more because I'm not just going to have a flat hull on the outside, then 6 blocks is a pretty decent amount to put, let's see, like a food area in where I have growing plants and stuff. To put in, what else do we need? Like a giant engine room and things, we need that. And a couple other things. The cockpit, of course. Not just the cockpit, but like the bridge. There needs to be a bridge on this one. So anyway, you guys, that's that. I'm going to go ahead and continue with this. Probably add that like engine room, because I feel like that should be central to the ship as well. Probably near this capital vessel, the warp drive. And I'm first going to enclose this in. By the way, the entire vessel is going to be built out of combat steel. It's going to be legit. Okay? Legit. Anyway, so there we go. The warp drive's kind of suspended. I'm going to go ahead and kind of encase the rest of this and then move on to the next room, and I'll come back when I'm there. Alright, I'd say we're already reaching the point of ridiculous here. We got the warp drive right here in the center, as I showed you before. Then I extended the platform. The plan is for right here on these inside spaces to have our O2 storage and our fuel tanks kind of up against a wall right here, possibly. And I'm trying to take into account here the new update. Alpha 6, I guess, is almost out, and that is going to have things like radiation, things like ventilation inside of your vessel, things like temperature also. And so if you get too close to your core, obviously that's a bad thing, because you're radiated and burnt up and everything. If you get too close to your generators, which, oh my god, these tier 2 generators, they are massive. They're 6 blocks tall by a 2 by 2 space. That's 6 blocks tall. It's just friggin' ridiculous. And I have doors on all of these if I ever did want to go in and be like, oh yeah, there's a generator, although I really highly doubt it. It's just because, you know, like, I feel like you would have to have that. And I left the windows out over here just so you could see it without it. But basically, we're going to be protected from the generators, protected from the warp drive, protected from, you saw 2 more things back here if you were looking really closely. In here, we have our gravity generator. So I can close that, and then right next to it we have our offline protection, and those are just in tiny little rooms. There's lights inside of each of these rooms, but until I have the generators and the fuel tanks on here and power it up, we can't actually see the lights in action. So it's coming along, you guys. It's not fast progress, but it is progress. So I'm going to keep adding things. Next is going to be the fuel tanks and the O2 stations in here. I may also leave some blank spaces, or at least a place where I'm going to eventually put the ventilators, because those do provide our entire ship with oxygen when we're in outer space. Then we can actually take our helmet off when we're inside of our ship, which is pretty freaking sweet, if you ask me. But I'm going to keep at that. I'm going to add those 2 things. I'm also, if you didn't notice already, for a lot of these pathways, I'm going with 2 wide. Man, this is going to be a classy ship. Okay, 2 wide kind of ruins it a lot of the times for like lighting and stuff, but whatever, you know, it's whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna add a few more of those things. By the time I add the fuel tanks here, we should be able to power up the ship and actually see the lights turn on, and then we can really start having some fun, you guys. Okay, everybody, welcome back. We have the whole room done. Well, not painted and stuff yet, but here's our big, whoa, the warp drive, dun. We got a bunch of lights in here, hopefully not too much. I might cut those down eventually, but we got 10 O2 tank storages on both sides, one and the same. It's mirrored on both sides. Then we have 6 tier 2 fuel tanks on both sides, which I'll fill with fusion cells. We got our 4 generators in the back, of course. I've added a bunch of storage for like promethium. No, basically for fuel. Completely for fuel, actually. And for O2, I suppose. And that's about it. We got the O2, we got the fuel for the warp drive and for the ship. We have the generators, the lights are on, and we have some O2 dispensers here. I've also added in the back here, by the way, you can see I'm using gravity right now too. Here's our clone chamber, and here's a medic station just in case I'm in this particular room and I need that for some reason. But yeah, it's a little bit dark. I've put red lights inside the warp drive, and over there by the generators as kind of like a warning symbol, sign, whatever. And yeah, this way is going to go out to the bridge, I believe. This way is going to go out, not even sure yet. We have to put in one or two bays. We have to put in a growing place where there's also going to be fridge and processor. And then we also need to put in kind of like a constructor / storage room somewhere. And then I have to add all the thrusters on. I have to add in the cockpit and the warp. No. Oh, there also has to be like a living quarters part, because in the new update there's also has something to do with beds and whatnot. You can actually interact with them and use them for something. So Wow, we have just begun. Let me go ahead and add a few more parts to this thing, and then I'll come back and show you. Alright, everybody. You are looking at a ridiculous capital vessel. Just to give you the scale of things here, my ship is right there. Okay, that's my teeny tiny little small vessel. Oh my god! Ah, this is crazy. I've been building this for hours over 2 days so far, and I've realized that I gotta bring you guys back in and take you on a tour. Now, before I do that, I want to let you know how I got to this point, okay? I've been looking at the picture of a Romulan warbird on my other screen, and just trying to make this thing look like that. Now, I'm not going to copy it exact. There's no way I'm going to be able to, just because there's not enough block shapes in this game to really get it right. And if I did, I think it would be like many times bigger than this, believe it or not. And this is big enough. So, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take you on a little tour. Before that, I'm going to try to put on the screen a picture of the Romulan warbird that I've been looking at right now. And I hope it works. I'm not quite sure if I know how to do it or not. However, let's get back to it. I want to take you guys on a little bit of a tour of what I've done. In fact, it's been so long since my last recording that I don't even remember if I had... No, I didn't. I didn't have the bay. I didn't have the, this. I didn't have this in here yet. So here we go. Coming straight out of our... Here's our engine room, kind of, whatever you want to call it. Here's the engine room. There's the warp core. Okay, coming straight out of there. Coming off the sides through those two doors, yes, eventually we're going to have our growing rooms for food. We're going to have our giant storage rooms, our constructor rooms, but this is our bay. We can probably fit like 3 to 4 small ships in here eventually if we really wanted to, although I don't know why we would have to. It has gravity. Let me just push J. Okay, we are now on the vessel. Now, I ran into a problem with the gravity because it's so dang big. The gravity generator that's way in the back, okay, the one that's like way to the back here, underneath here is our warp core room, and the gravity generator is way in the back. When I started to make this top room to run up to the bridge, I would get to like here, and I would just start floating into space because the gravity generator couldn't stretch that far. So I had to put another gravity generator in the bottom of this front part, and I'm fearing that I may have to put another one out on the wings eventually when I get this thing going. However, this is the bridge, ladies and gentlemen. Now, none of this is textured or colored yet. That is going to come at the very end. I'm going to do all that business, and I'm sure it's going to be awesome, but I did add some of the lights in, and I can, in fact, fly this beast. It's so ridiculous. Look how big it is. I'm like a tiny speck compared to it. Okay, we're not going to fly it right now because once I get it started, it's hard to get it stopped because I don't have all the thrusters on, really. The thrusters on the back are super powerful. Like, they have enough power to push our ship many times over. I've done the math. It's many, many times over. Even though the ship right now is about 20, it's about 21 kilotons. I've estimated that in the end it's going to weigh roughly 45 kilotons. Each one of those giant extra large thrusters back there can push roughly 85 kilotons, and I think, no, they can push 80 kilotons worth of mass, and we're in space, so none of that really matters a lot, I think. And I have 2 of those back there, plus I have 6 of the 200 kilowatt. It's a lot, okay? Just trust me, it's a lot. I did the math, okay? And I'm making sure that I have enough of everything, but I had to stop a little bit to do some math and make sure, I was sure. Okay, so here we got the controls. Here's Octavius' seat, Howitzer's seat over here if they want to join me on some missions. And you can go up here. Down here is going to be my quarters. This is my bedroom, guys, because I'm the captain. So I get an awesome bedroom. Okay, I'm going to have my bed in here and a couple other things. It's completely obscene. Look at the stairs, too. Look at the spiral staircase. I mean... you can't get any better than that. I mean, this is mine right here. This guy right here without the helmet. That's me. I deserve that stuff, okay? Look at this build. It's ridiculous. Okay, so anyway, you can't go up the stairs because these are really derpy stairs, but it looks really cool, doesn't it? Anyway, so we got giant windows to look out upon the space and everything and all the stuffs. You go down here, and it's our extra gravity generator. I may put a few other things in here, but we needed that extra gravity generator. Otherwise, we were going to be floating out in space all the time on our ship. So, that's kind of everything already. You can see that I'm starting to get the wings in. And the wings are going to, like I said, house the growing platforms. It's going to house our storage room, giant storage room. It might have some extra beds and stuff, might have a medic room. I don't even know anymore because this thing is getting so ridiculous. And then it just becomes a game of me trying to figure out exactly where to put all of the thrusters facing outwards to the right, outwards to the left, backwards we already got covered. Look at how many are down here. Let me disengage the gravity. Look at this ridiculousness. These are the extra large ones. Those things will push our ship like 2 times over each. So that's like 4. And then 4 of the other ones is like another one of those. So that's times 12. And then, I don't know. We got like times 14. They could push our ship 14 times basically, right? When it gets built. It's not even built yet. Right now they could push our ship times 28, something like that. Okay, so I have to keep building. And then once I'm all done with everything, I have to go on the outside and kind of contour it. You see how this is like up a little bit? And then I have to place it. So it's not just flat. You know, that's kind of boring. You don't want to flatten this. But that's going to take a while messing around with all these cool different types of blocks, which I've already spent a lot of time on, you know, all these things. It's kind of ridiculous. Okay, I've also realized that I nowhere near created the amount of resources that it's going to take to build this thing in my survival world, but I think I do have the amount of materials that it takes to build those resources. So I can do it. It's going to take like tons of resources off the planet and off the moon. There it is. But I'm going to be able to do it. And it's going to be insane. However, I had to split this into a 2-parter, you guys. This ship, I've been working at hours. It's massive. It's ridiculous. It's awesome. And I think I'm going to expand the number of guns on it, too. This thing is going to be a mega death destroyer, okay? If anything comes anywhere near this, it is going to rue the day that it decided to take on the WARBIRD, okay? Engage gravity. Let's do this. I love these windows, you guys. Look at this. So freaking sweet! And then once I actually get it done, look how my little, like, the small vessel is going to fly out of this thing. Look, I got the railings on and everything. I'm going to jump in the small vessel here. And then I power this up, push V, you know, I'm going to take, oh, I had to disengage. Did you hear that sound? I didn't even know that. Okay, then I actually fly out through, like, the front of the ship. That's so freaking sweet. Look at this thing. It's going to be such a beast. And then flying back in, I wanted you guys to hear. Oh, I ran into it. I don't have such great front thrusters on this thing. Okay, I want you to hear. I'm going to park it on the left here again. Just let's straighten it out. Okay, you kind of lower it down, and then it makes a. And we're locked. Turn that thing off. I don't need that. Anyway, you guys, awesome progress today. I'm sorry I didn't get it finished. I got a lot of life things going on. I'm a band teacher, and we do have a band concert, like Tuesday, the day before this released, so I had to get everything done before that. In the next week, I'm going to finish this thing. We're going to start next episode. No, next episode might have to be me building this thing. It's going to take hours and hours, and it's going to be done. Hopefully, we can just go wreck something and put it into the survival world at the end of next episode and, like, drive it up into space and just take out a cruiser like it's nothing. But we have to save the warping probably to even to the one after that. I'm sorry to you guys if you don't want to see me doing all this constantly for episodes all in a row. I'm usually not liking that either, but this is a massive, massive, massive times 28 project, okay? And it's going to take long. If I want to do it right, I mean, we could just throw a bunch of crap thrusters on the outside right now and call it done and go into warp, but you're not going to be happy with it. You're not going to be happy with it, just like I'm not, okay? Trust me on this one. So, anyway, you guys, just like always, if you liked what you see here today, be sure you hit the like button, subscribe, comment, tweet, whatever you'd like to do. Let me know what's up. If you didn't like it, let me know what's up, too. I want to get the feedback, okay? If I don't get the feedback, I can't make things better, all right? But anyway, I want to thank you guys all for watching, and have an awesome day.